If you feel like you were going through profound transformations during eclipse season, well, guess what? The transformation is continuing throughout October because October is full of intense transformation, spiritual expansion, deep intuitive insights, and there's also a huge focus on relationships. So in this video, I'm going to go through all the 12 zodiac signs and share with you your horoscope for the month. Hey everyone, it's Ria, and today I'm going to be breaking down the astrology and energy of the month October. And the reason why October is full of intensity is because the sun will move out of Libra into Scorpio. So it's going to be Scorpio season. So you know when it's Scorpio season, everything becomes really deep, really intense. Intuitive insights become so much more profound and stronger. Your sixth sense is much more sharper, and there could be a lot of transformation that occurs, a lot of spiritual transformation. And also we have Pluto, which rules over the sign Scorpio, finally going direct in the sign of Aquarius. So it's been in retrograde since May. So depending on where Pluto has been retrograding in your chart, that energy is now going to start to also move forward. And Pluto is a planet of transformation, so that area of life can transform. And I'm going to get into that when I break down your horoscope for your zodiac. We also have a full moon in Aries in the month of October. So that's intense. Aries is one of the intense zodiacs as well. So when the full moon is in Aries, our emotions are very intense. We have a lot of ambition, a lot of drive, a lot of momentum and stamina. So we can really work with that energy to make a lot of changes. I mean, when you think of manifestation, you think of Aries. It's the first zodiac sign. It is the epitome of manifestation. Now, we also have the new moon in Libra, which focuses a lot on love, relationships, and harmony and pleasure. And it's going to be quite an intense new moon. And the reason why is because we have Mars in Scorpio in its home sign. And then we also have Mercury in Scorpio, the planet of the mind, thinking, speaking, how you process information. So when you have Mars and Mercury together, that could create a lot of havoc or chaos, but you can also work with it so spiritually that it can really change your life and transform it depending on how much you're able to harness its intensity. So October is going to be a very passionate month for sure. Passionately intense, passionately in love, passionately driven and motivated, passionately ready to tap into its spiritual, psychic energy and really expand. Now I'm going to break down each zodiac sign. I'll leave the timestamps down below. These videos are intended for the rising. However, you can definitely cross-watch for your sun or your moon. So with that being said, let's get into your October horoscope.
Hey Aries, Aries rising. Welcome to your monthly forecast for October. Now October is a very special, powerful month for you because you have your annual full moon in October on October the 6th. So whenever you have your annual full moon, it's a very important month. It can hold a lot of significance, a lot of shifts and changes can also happen. And it doesn't impact every single Aries rising. It's more degree specific, but nonetheless, you can definitely feel the impact and manifestation of this full moon. Now we're going to get into that, but first let's start off with Mercury entering Scorpio, which happens on October the 6th, the same day as a full moon in Aries, but it happens earlier on. So Mercury, the planet of communication, the mind, and travel, will leave Libra, which is your opposite sign, and it's been in your 7th house. So there may have been a lot of discussions, a lot of conversations, a lot of even negotiating occurring in your life, whether it be with a romantic partner, some other type of partnership, or other people. Communication has been very significant. Now that 7th house energy is also going to be very, very important during this month because there's a lot of activity going on there. So relationships is a huge theme. But Mercury will enter Scorpio, so it will move out of your 7th house into your 8th house of shared resources. This is the area of life that rules over intimacy. It rules over deep spiritual transformation as well. So now you're getting a bit more deeper. Now you're getting more into your psyche, getting more spiritual. Perhaps you're really enjoying learning about the occult or different spiritual topics. Maybe this is going to be a time where you want to connect more deeply with your partner if you are in a relationship, or there may be some discussions or back and forth communication or a lot of thinking regarding anything you share, such as anything financial or any resources that you share with others. So that's where the focus of Mercury is, but there's more depth to it. There's more intensity behind it as well. So that's the intensity kicking off, and then we really get into the intensity, and we have your full moon in Aries. Now, this full moon in Aries is going to be at 14 degrees of Aries. So take a look at your chart. Take a look at if you have any Aries planets or even Libra planets at 14 degrees or close by, because if you do, then you'll feel the manifestation of this energy much more profoundly. Now, when you have the moon in Aries, emotions are more intense and passionate. There's more emotional drive. There's more focus on self. The emotions are very much concerned about how is it that I feel, me, myself, and I. And the sun being in Libra, which focuses on relationships and other people, this is showing that there's a lot of focus on where you stand and where other people stand, your goals, your motivations, what it is you want to achieve, and how relationships play a role in this, or partnerships play a role in this. So there could be some tension because the moon and sun will be in an opposition, but this full moon is creating something or bringing forth an energy where you can bring forth equilibrium in both of these areas of life. There could also be a huge focus on your goals and what it is that you need to feel emotionally fulfilled. And because this is a full moon, which suggests that there is some sort of releasing, some sort of emotional release, energetic release, or some type of ending. It's about rebuilding yourself as well. It's about letting something go, coming to an end of something in order to rebirth yourself, to be reborn again, to rebuild and to reset and to really get going with whatever it is you want to achieve, because this full moon gives you a lot of passion. It gives you like a lot of stamina and momentum as well. So it's going to be a very special full moon. I actually like this full moon. Even though there's a lot of intensity and there's a lot of passion, I'm really liking it because there's a lot of positive influences as well. I mean, Pluto and Uranus are really getting along, which is encouraging change, working with your spirituality, working with your intensity to create something new that liberates you, that frees you. So it's a very special full moon in Aries. So for you, it's going to be really important, especially regarding what it is you want to achieve and create for yourself. Moving on, October the 13th, Venus, a planet of love and relationships, enters Libra. So there's a lot of 7th house energy for you because Libra is your opposite sign, so Venus will enter your 7th house. So relationships, love, romance, how you get along with other people, your social life, partnerships, that's all going to come to the forefront. And this may be a time where you are feeling much more romantic, where you are really focusing on relationships. As much as you're focusing on yourself, it's almost like relationships are super important during this time. Like they're really coming up and showing up, and you're having to kind of like navigate through them. So this could be a very relationship orientated period for you in the month of October. And this is further emphasized because on October the 21st, we have a new moon in Libra. And this new moon in Libra will be at 28 degrees. Now, this new moon in Libra is a bit more intense. So there's more passion here. There's more intensity, there's more sensitivity here as well, because we've got the sun and the moon in the 7th house. So when it comes to something changing or something new coming up in terms of your relationships, now whether you're single, whether you're dating, whether you're in a long-term relationship, or this could be just any type of relationship, like a business partnership, anyone you have a partnership with, that can really come up during this time, and there could be something that begins, something that starts during this time, or there could be a change that occurs, a new beginning that occurs. This could simply manifest as, there's a lot of focus, you're creating just beautiful memories, but there's also a lot of passion here. There's a lot of intimacy here. There's a lot of depth here. And there's this urge for transformation as well. Now, during this time, we're going to have Mars and Mercury in a conjunction in your 8th house. So there's a lot of intensity, a lot of passion. I mean, this could be a time where you're just so into each other. This could be like makeup breakup sex kind of thing. Like, that is Mars and Mercury in the 8th house. And there's a lot of intensity also because we've got Pluto and the new moon making a difficult, challenging aspect, but it's kind of pushing you to let's go deeper. Let's go deeper in terms of let's not just have this superficial type of relationship. Let's go deep into understanding each other's emotional needs, understanding what we need physically, mentally, spiritually is a big one. How we can evolve, how can we grow, how can we transform? So when it comes to really working on your relationship and bringing more purpose and depth and making almost like your relationship and how it's connected, especially if you're on a spiritual path, like becoming more closer to the divine through your relationship, this could really be the time. Now, if you're single and you're wondering, well, I'm single AF, so how did this manifest for me? Well, this could be like a beginning of a new relationship. This could be somebody new entering your life, or even when it comes to reflecting on past relationships and having almost like an aha moment that allows you to move forward, that allows you to begin anew, because it's almost like you find this missing piece to the puzzle that's been kind of preventing you from moving on. And during this time, you have this like big epiphany, or you start this new chapter in your life that gives you the space to move forward. So this is a very relationship orientated time, and there's a lot of focus, and a lot of healing can also be done during this time, whether you're single or whether you're in a relationship or partnership. Now let's move on. We also have Pluto going direct in Aquarius, so it's been in retrograde since May. So any themes around Pluto being in your 11th house regarding friendships, groups, hopes and visions for the future, anything that you've had to kind of navigate through, this energy will now start to move forward. October the 22nd, we have Neptune retrograding back into Pisces. So it just moved into Aries. And just like Saturn retrograding back into Pisces, so is Neptune, and this is like a farewell. This is like a farewell because Neptune is one of the slowest moving planets, so most of us won't, well, almost all of us won't see this energy again. And going back into your 12th house is about revisiting the past. It's about revisiting any emotions or any thing you've gone through that is very sensitive, that makes you very vulnerable. It's about reflecting and revisiting and finding spiritual, gaining spiritual enlightenment and wisdom. It's also about anything that you've needed to almost reintegrate or expand further on regarding consciousness, spirituality, relationship with the divine, sixth sense, psychic abilities, psychic spiritual gifts and abilities. It's creative gifts and abilities as well. I mean, psychic gifts and creative gifts and abilities are almost one and the same. They're so intertwined and interconnected. So it's about regaining that and then taking that to the next level as well. Okay, so it's a very special spiritual time because it's in your 12th house, but also be careful of, this may be a time where if there's been anything that's been hidden, or there's been anything that needs to come to the forefront, this may be Neptune going back over something just to shed light on it as well. October the 22nd, we also have the sun that moves into Scorpio, so it will move into your 8th house, again amplifying the energy of what I shared about Mars being in the 8th house. There's a lot of passion here, there's a lot of emotional depth here, there's a lot of focus on shared finances, resources, intimacy, and deep spiritual transformation. This is a time where you may feel like your sixth sense and your psychic abilities are just on an all-time high. Like you can really read people and tune into energy much more easily and really be divinely guided as well. Now, to finish up the month, October the 29th, we have Mercury, the planet of communication and the mind and travel, moving into Sagittarius. So moving out of your 8th house into your 9th house, where it's very happy and very comfortable because, first of all, Mercury loves being in the 9th house because it's a traveler. So there may be a lot of travel involved, or there may be a lot of working on projects that involve a lot of communication or education, or really expanding your views and philosophical beliefs and ideas. So there could also be a focus on that, but it looks really good for travel. So Aries rising, wishing you all the best this month. A lot of intensity, a lot of passion. It's your month because you got a full moon in your sign, and there's a lot of relationship energy on the way. So all the best, and I'll speak with you soon. Hey Taurus rising. I hope y'all are all good since the eclipse, because I know it's been going off. But October is a new month, and there's a lot of new energy, a lot of exciting, passionate, fiery, feisty energy in the mix, and relationships seem to be a huge focus for you this month. The reason being so is because there's a lot of energy in your 7th house and a lot of planets in your opposite sign, Scorpio. So let's start off with all of that, because on October the 6th, we've got Mercury, the planet of the mind, communication, and travel, entering Scorpio, meaning entering your 7th house. So what does the 7th house rule over? Relationships, partnerships, marriage, other people. This could even be the area of life that with people you are in an opposition with. So it's really interesting, because how can an area of life be about commitment and, taking relationships seriously and, being in love and what have you, but then also at the same time, it rules over like opposition. And if you go into like traditional astrology, this is usually known as the area of life, quote unquote, of open enemies, right? And the reason being is because even when you're in relationships, you can have a lot of opposing thoughts, or you want to do something one way, your partner wants to do it another way, and we're all spiritual mirrors for one another. Somebody once said to me, well, they didn't tell me, but they kind of did tell me in a way. They were like, love and hate are kind of like it's the same coin, but just like opposite sides. And, it really kind of like struck a thought in me, because I was like, that is so true. I've never really thought of it that way. And that's like the 7th house. So when you have Mercury in Scorpio in the 7th house, and you're also going to have the Sun entering Scorpio on October the 22nd, and you already have Mars, so there's a lot of passion here, a lot of fuel, a lot of fire. This means there's a lot of energy, a lot of focus on relationships. So there's a lot of discussions happening, a lot of communication. Maybe you want to get to know your partner more deeply. You want to get more intimate through conversations, through learning about each other, through learning about what goes on in each other's minds, learn about each other's emotions, but in a very mercurial way. Getting more intimate together. I mean, you got Mars, the planet of passion and intimacy, right in your 7th house, and you got the Sun amplifying that energy. So there's a lot of passion, a lot of intensity, a lot of depth, meaning, purpose, soul in relationships. Now, if you are single, you're probably like, well, how does this apply to me? Well, if you're single, this could just be about even reflecting on past relationships and trying to come to a conclusion or understand or do some deep transformation. Remember, Scorpio rules over transformation. This could be about learning about the past so that you can really transform, learning about your relationship patterns, what you need, what are some of your soft spots, or what are some of your triggers, and what it is that makes you feel fulfilled. That can really support you in then moving forward and doing a lot of relationship healing, okay? So it's a very relationship-focused month for Taurus rising. Now, we also have the ruler of Scorpio, Pluto, going direct on October the 13th. The station's direct. It's been in retrograde since May. So that's going to be in your 10th house. So when it comes to career goals and ambitions and really transforming this area of life, learning the lessons that, retrograde has taught you, processing them, applying them, and really moving forward. So those that are really working hard on their careers, goals, and ambitions, and those that are really committed to this area of life where it plays a huge role, this energy, this is going to be really profound for you as well. Right, let's move on. Let's get into some more intensity, okay? Because on October the 6th, we got a full moon in Aries. This full moon in Aries happens at 14 degrees of Aries, and it's happening in your 12th house. So what is the 12th house? So there's many different breakdowns of the 12th house, many different aspects of the 12th house. You've got the 12th house ruling an ending, it also ruling the past, it also ruling coming into culmination, because if you think about it, the first house is a beginning, the 12th house is the end of the chart. So that's why it rules over endings. The 12th house can also rule over the past if you look at it from a very spiritual, esoteric point of view. It can also rule over a culmination, because as we get into the 12th house, what comes after the first house. So there could be a lot of reflecting on the past and a lot of emotions from the past coming up to the surface and doing a lot of shadow work. 12th house is also about spiritual healing and sensitivities and emotions. So a lot of deep emotional, spiritual transformation can occur. And because the moon is going to be in the 12th house in the sign of Aries, Aries is a very passionate energy. So this could rule over the more intense emotions, okay? And the sun will be in the 6th house, which is shining light on the mundane, daily life, daily routine, health, wellness, work. So releasing something in that regard as well, or letting go of something that is just not serving you, that is connected to the past, that has been carrying on for quite some time, but it's almost like it's not bringing peace, it's not bringing harmony. And then it's about transforming any self-destructive patterns or habits so that you can be the Libra energy, which is harmony, equilibrium, and then so that you can also apply the Aries energy of moving forward and igniting that sacred fire so you can create. So a lot of shadow work, a lot of deep spiritual healing as well. Full moon in Aries in the 12th house can also be about the relationship you have with the universe, divine, spiritual gifts, creative gifts as well. Dreams can be very profound as well. So there could be a lot of focus on that. But it's very intense and it's very passionate. That's a key word, passionate, okay? Now, because you have a lot of 7th house energy and there's a lot of relationship stuff here, and with this full moon in Aries, there is a focus on relationships because of the sun being in Libra and Aries being about me, myself, and I. This could also trigger some stuff up in relationships, but again, it gives you room and space to do some spiritual transformation so that you can really come into harmony in relationships with yourself and whomever you're in a relationship with, or just other people in general. October the 13th, Venus enters Libra, moving into the 6th house. So there's a lot of focus on daily life routine, wellness, work as well. This may be a time where you take more pleasure in taking care of yourself, or organizing, cleaning, or maybe you want to do something more creative in your work environment, or even when it comes to ways of taking care of yourself in terms of wellness, applying more Venusian aspects of health and wellness, like doing more feminine workouts like yoga or meditation, what connects you to the heart center, because Venus is all about the heart. So that could be really supportive as well this month, especially if you're going through a lot of relationship stuff and you need to feel more in tune with yourself, feel more in tune with your heart energy. This can really support you in that. Moving on. New moon in Libra, October the 21st. Okay, so sun, moon in the 6th house. So we're looking at daily life routine habits. Work is a big one with the 6th house, but also taking care of yourself, self-care. New moons are, of course, about new beginnings and new chapters. So this could be a new beginning in terms of something changes within you, in terms of your mentality, where you want to be more healthier or be more holistic in your approach of taking care of yourself, or something new happens at work. This could be a new promotion. Now, because Pluto is in your 10th house and it is going direct, it could be connected to work. And also because there's a lot of clearing out and a lot of shadow work happening with a full moon in Aries, because a full moon and the new moon are connected, after you've really kind of detoxed and let go, there's still some more transformation here, because even though it's a new moon in Libra and we're all thinking about harmony and balance, romance with the Libra energy, but it's super intense because it's making a triggering aspect with Pluto. So it seems like there needs to be more deeper work or deeper spiritual transformation regarding work life, career goals and ambitions. But also we've got Mercury and Mars in a conjunction in your 7th house. So this is also highlighting relationships. I mean, just regardless of the 7th house being supercharged for you this month, Libra is also love orientated. But with this Mars and Mercury conjunction, seems like there's a lot of passion. There could be a lot of like heated exchanges going on. You got to be careful of not lashing out. Scorpio is very intense. But if you look at it from the positive, you can really come together, work on your relationship, and really move forward to the next level of getting closer or becoming more spiritual together or bonding more together, really feeling like a unit. You know, Scorpio is all about all or nothing. So this could even reignite the passion in your relationship, or even when it comes to manifesting relationships or love into your life, you could even meet somebody. And of course, this is not going to apply to everyone, but like a classic manifestation is meeting somebody who's very Scorpio, like they are very Martian or very mercurial. Is mercurial even a word? I'm just making that up. You know what I mean, right? Who likes to just talk a lot, communicate a lot, or is very passionate, fiery, very smart, and you just click even though you're opposite and you're not the same, but opposites attract. So that could be a major theme as well. Now we also have Neptune going retrograde back in Pisces, and this is like almost like a farewell, visiting Pisces again to regain more clarity, regain more awareness and wisdom, ignite more of your spiritual gifts and talents. It has to do with friendships for you and groups, and also your hopes and visions for the future. Okay, so it's joining Saturn. So Taurus rising, it's a big month. It is a big month, okay? A lot is going on. Relationships are really center stage for you this month, and also when it comes to career goals and work. So I'm wishing you all the best. Take care, and I'll speak with you soon. Hey Gem Rising. Let's get into the horoscope for October. So October is a very passionate, intense, energetic month, and I hope you guys are doing well after the eclipse. But this month is really giving us a lot of fuel, a lot of fire, a lot of creativity as well, because there's a lot of strong energies playing out. Now, I want to get into the 6th house for you because that's a major one this month. So you're going to have a lot of planets here, and they're all going to be in the sign of Scorpio. So if you know anything about astrology, you know Scorpio is intense, deep, very passionate, and very fixated. The 6th house rules over your daily life routine, how your life is structured, your daily habits, the things you get on with every single day, health, wellness, self-care, and work is a major one with the 6th house. And you got a lot of energy in the 6th house. So October the 6th, you've got Mercury, the planet of the mind, your ruler, and the planet of communication and travel entering your 6th house. So seems like there's a lot of thinking, planning, learning, organizing your life to be your best self, to be your fittest self, to be your most healthiest self. And also when it comes to work, there may be a lot of communication, a lot of movement, perhaps even a lot of travel, or you may be traveling quite a bit. And it's in the sign of Scorpio, so it's more deep and it's more intuitive. And then you already have Mars in your 6th house, so that's bringing a lot of activity, a lot of energy, a lot of passion, a lot of fuel, a lot of fire. Seems like you're very energetic, very driven. That's a key word, like very motivated, very driven when it comes to work perhaps as well. And there seems to be like a lot of emphasis on work and career, and we'll get into that. And then on October the 22nd, the sun enters Scorpio, so it's amplifying all the energies of the 6th house even more. So there's a lot of light here, a lot of activity, a lot of momentum. So this month may be really much about taking care of yourself, being very productive, and work is very much emphasized. Okay, so a lot of moving forward in this area of life. Now, speaking of career and work, Your 10th house is also very significant because we already have Saturn in retrograde back into Pisces, back into your 10th house. So it's kind of like revisiting past situations regarding career goals and ambitions to make sure that you're really sure on what it is that you want to do and you're really putting in that work and the effort and the energy and the devotion. But also October the 22nd, Neptune, the planet of dreams and the planet of illusions and the planet of higher consciousness, is also retrograding back into Pisces in your 10th house. And it's kind of like a farewell visit. So it seems like it's kind of reigniting or kind of amplifying this spiritual connection with your career goals and ambitions. And it's giving you more intuitive insight. It's supporting you in reconnecting with that intuition, that creativity. And it seems very spiritual for you. So career goals and ambitions, it seems very spiritual and it's very much connected with like your higher self as well. It's about igniting that intuition again and feeling more purposeful and soulful, connecting with this area of life on a much more soulful, deeper level. But also, Neptune is a planet of illusions. So it's retrograding back. So if there's any illusions or not thinking clearly about this area of life, it's here to again kind of reveal and then bring forth more clarity. So there could also be a lot of shadow work that is done in this area of life, but it seems like there's a lot of focus here. Neptune also rules over dreams. So, manifesting your dreams, but working with Saturn, and Saturn's very much like use your hours, devote yourself to whatever it is you want to accomplish, put in the time, put in the effort, don't complain, and you'll get to it. Like that's Saturn. Now, Saturn and Neptune are two very different energies, but it seems like both these energies are reuniting in the sign of Pisces in your 10th house and coming together to kind of offer you best of both worlds. You've got Saturn that's very disciplined and very authoritative, and you've got Neptune that is very divine and etheric. So merging those energies together to make the best out of it. Okay? So a lot of focus on work, career goals, and ambitions. Now let's get into the full moon in Aries that's happening in your 11th house of friendships, groups, social networks, and hopes and visions for the future. So October the 6th, we also got a full moon in Aries. So the moon will be in the 11th house and the sun will be in your 5th house, which is a very beautiful area of life. It rules over happiness, joy, creativity, romance. So it seems like there needs to be some balance between you and your goals and what it is that you want to achieve, because the moon in Aries is very much me, myself, and I, and then you got the sun in Libra, which is about romance and pleasure. So it seems like there needs to be a balance between what it is that you desire, especially regarding any type of community you're involved in, any type of groups. Now I know friendships play a huge role in your life because you're ruled by Mercury and you're all about communicating and having a big social network, and then merging and balancing how you have fun and how you enjoy yourself and your creativity. Now the moon in Aries is very intense and very passionate, so this may be a time where you feel very heated. Be careful of getting into any confrontation with friends or people you're working with, because the 11th house is also about collaboration as well. So a lot of emphasis on rebalancing these areas of life. What is it that you want? What is it that you desire? How does achieving your goals and experiencing fun and pleasure and being social, making time for your goals, friendships, collaborating, having fun, romance, dating, how does that all fit in your world? Because Gemini is a very mutable air energy, it doesn't often like structure, but in order to especially tick off some of your goals, you need structure. That's Saturn in retrograde in your 10th house. But also you'll find with all this 6th house energy and this full moon in Aries, the full moon in Aries being much more about me, myself, and I, and the sun being about us and we and pleasure. How does that all fit in your life? How do you make everything work? So there could be a lot of restructuring and transformation regarding that aspect of life. Now, moving on, Venus also enters Libra on October the 13th into your 5th house. So it seems like you really want to have fun and you're feeling really creative. You're feeling very romantic. And this could really support you if you work in a creative environment or you just want to showcase your gifts and your talents. This could really support you. Venus loves being the 5th house. So you can also experience a lot of pleasure during this time. You can be very artistic, very creative, very expressive. Great if you want to be seen in the spotlight or share your talents and gifts. October the 13th, we also have Pluto stationing direct, so in your 9th house. So the 9th house has a lot to do with the mind, the higher mind as well. It's about philosophies, beliefs, spirituality, traveling, and gaining awareness and wisdom through travel, through learning. This could even have to do with education as well. So since May, it's been in retrograde, so any lessons that have been coming up that you've been learning and coming into your awareness, it's time to apply them and move forward so you can gain more spiritual enlightenment in this area of life. Moving on, October the 21st, we've got a new moon in Libra in your 5th house. Again, this is emphasizing on pleasure, joy, creativity, romance. This could be like something new happens regarding like a relationship you're in, or more so like dating. If you're in the fields of dating right now, maybe somebody new comes along, or maybe you're just really feeling romantic and having the best time of your life during this time, and especially during this new moon in Libra, you really feel that highlighted, except this new moon in Libra is very intense because it is making a challenging aspect with Pluto, and then we also have Mars and Mercury in a conjunction, so there's a lot of intensity, but it seems like you're having a lot of fun, but at the same time, you're almost tested and there's like a lot of intensity. And Gemini is not a very intense energy. It likes to be free, it likes to be wild, it likes to just have fun. It's laid back and very curious, but it's not about the intensity. But it seems like you want to have fun and you want to enjoy yourself, but there's something pushing you to go deeper, and it's pushing you to go deeper in the sense of how can you work with your creativity to create like a spiritual masterpiece, or how can you work with your creativity to really transform your life, or instead of just dating, how can you go deeper, and perhaps there's something more than just dating. Maybe there's something more substantial, like a relationship, a potential of a relationship. With Mercury and Mars in a conjunction in the 6th house, maybe you're feeling very intense and very passionate about taking care of yourself, health and wellness. Maybe you're also very passionate about work during this time. You're super focused, super ambitious, and almost ruthless in terms of really accomplishing what it is that you've set your mind to. But you got to be careful with Mars and Mercury because sometimes it can get into conflicts or ego battles. And in the 6th house, it could be regarding work and colleagues. But there could be this new beginning, this new chapter regarding either your work life, relationships, or even when it comes to your creative gifts and talents and how you utilize them or work with them to create something more meaningful. And then at the end of the month, October 29th, we have Mercury enter Sagittarius, moving into your 7th house. So this shows that there is focus on relationships, whether it be a romantic relationship or some other type of partnership, or there being a lot of back and forth with other people in your life. Mercury being the planet of communication, seems like there's a lot of important conversations that are occurring that are very optimistic, that are very humorous, that are very larger than life. A lot of fun involved in these conversations, a lot of hope and a lot of faith, but it seems like conversations regarding relationships and other people will be quite significant at the end of the month. Wishing you all the best, take care, have fun, and I'll speak with you soon. Hey Cancer, Cancer Rising. Welcome to your October horoscope and forecast. So let's get into it. October has a very different energy to the eclipse, and I hope you all are doing good since then. But October is full of passion, excitement, a lot of energy, a lot of focus on love, relationships, and harmony. Now, it seems like there's a lot of energy when it comes to your happiness, when it comes to joy, creativity, how you express yourself, and romance. And also when it comes to your home life, family life, and career goals and ambitions. Starting off with all the happiness and joy and creativity, because there's a lot of energy in your 5th house. So we've got a lot of Scorpio energy in your fifth house, which means there's a lot of intuition here, there's a lot of sensuality here, a lot of emotion, intuition, depth, creativity, passion. And the fifth house rules over joy, happiness, leisure, pleasure, having fun, channeling your creative gifts and abilities, expressing yourself, taking the limelight, being the spotlight. And also there's a lot of focus on romance and dating. So you've got October the 6th, Mercury, the planet of communication and travel, entering your fifth house. So it seems like you're really expressing yourself when it comes to like speaking or reading or writing, and also just mentally connecting. You also have Mars here. So Mars is all about stamina, momentum, drive, courage, passion, fuel, fire. So it's really igniting your creativity. When it comes to like romance and dating, there may be a lot of passion, a lot of sensuality there as well. So this could be a very exciting time. But then also on October the 22nd, you got the sun entering Scorpio, which is amplifying this energy. So it's a really good time to just be yourself and focus on your creative gifts, your abilities, have fun. It's a really great time to really just be in tune with self. Now, even though Scorpio is not known as the most happiest sign because it's so serious all the time, but there's so much intuition here, so much meaning, purpose, and depth. So if you're working on a creative project, or you want to showcase your creativity, or you want to channel your gifts and your abilities, and you want to share them with others, or put yourself in the spotlight, this can really be a great time for that. And even when it comes to bonding with somebody you're kind of like seeing, dating, because there's a lot of drive there, a lot of emotion, and a lot of sensuality and passion. Now I want to move on, because there's also a lot of focus on career goals, ambitions, and home life. So we got a full moon in Aries on October the 6th at 14 degrees. And the moon will be in your 10th house of career goals and ambitions, and the sun will be in Libra in your 4th house of home and family life. So it seems like there needs to be balance between these two areas of life. There needs to be an equilibrium between these two areas of life, because full moons typically show us where there is imbalance or where there's tension. And it seems like in terms of your emotions, there's a lot of passionate emotions regarding career goals and ambitions, regarding what you want to achieve. So the moon is giving you a lot of drive, it's giving you a lot of ambition, and it's giving you a lot of emotional energy into your 10th house. You're really emotionally relating and identifying with your 10th house at this point regarding when this full moon in Aries occurs. But being a Cancer rising, you deeply also identify, and with the sun being in your 4th house, with home and family and roots. So it seems like, you feel like you're stuck in the middle, basically. Like you feel like you need to give both of these areas of life your energy, but it seems like there's an imbalance, because you being a home-orientated, family-orientated person, it may feel like maybe you're focusing too much on career goals and ambitions, and your home and family life is not getting enough attention or TLC, or it may be vice versa. So something has to change, something has to be released, something has to come to an end, because full moons are about releasing, letting go, endings for a new beginning to occur. So it seems like you're focusing on balancing these two areas of life, and there's a lot of focus here. Now, there is a positive energy between Pluto and Uranus, so it's really supporting you to use your spiritual abilities to bring something new into your life. But something new can occur regarding home or regarding career goals and ambitions, but that's where the focus is during October. Okay, really building both of these areas of life, but making sure that you don't feel like you're neglecting yourself either. Okay, because the moon is very much about me, myself, and I. So what also fulfills you? Taking care of yourself as well. Okay, now this energy is going to continue, because October the 13th, we've got Venus entering Libra. So it's going to enter your 4th house. So this is where you're going to really identify with home, family. You may really enjoy being a lot of pleasure at home during this time. Maybe you're kind of like redecorating or having just really good moments that really amplifying love in the home, and you're bonding more. and there's just a lot of love to go around. We also have a new moon in Libra, October the 21st, in your 4th house, so there could be this new beginning, new start, something changing regarding home life, family life. Now, even though the Libra energy is about pleasure and harmony, there is a lot of intensity here because this new moon is making a difficult aspect with Pluto, and Pluto does go direct on October the 13th. So you may feel like there's something really making you dig deeper within self and really find spiritual meaning, or find spiritual wisdom, spiritual depth, to come to some type of understanding or conclusion that can support you in navigating forward regarding your needs and fulfilling the needs of what is required at home or family life. There seems to also be a lot of intensity and passion regarding the 5th house because Mars and Mercury will be in a conjunction. So again, this is kind of like showcasing that there's so much creativity that you have to share, and there's so many of your gifts and abilities are coming up during this time, and you feel like you really need to express them. Maybe it's like a conflict between time, like, where am I putting my time? Am I putting it at home? Am I putting in family, or do I pour it into myself? So again, it's about balance. It's about balancing your needs and balancing what it is that you desire, what you require, and what you really need to pour into during this time. So that also is going to be very much emphasized during this time. Now, moving on, Neptune retrogrades back into Pisces October the 22nd. Retrograding back into your 9th house. So this is where you can gain more spiritual enlightenment regarding philosophies, beliefs, spirituality. And it may be a time where you're feeling very spiritual, where you feel like you're going back into the 9th house and looking at any parts of self or parts of your beliefs where there needs to be more clarity, or maybe you need to figure out, what is it that you're believing in, or what are your beliefs made of? Are you just following them blindly, or are you actually resonating with them? So there may be a reflection period of revisiting, re-examining, and trying to figure out what you believe in, or working more on your spirituality and what really resonates with you. So it may also be a very spiritual time. October the 29th, we have Mercury entering Sagittarius, which will enter your 6th house. So this is emphasizing on taking care of your daily life, organizing it, how your life and routine is structured when it comes to taking care of your health, wellness, self-care, and also work is a huge one. So there may be a lot of energy, a lot of moving forward, a lot of activity in that area of life as well. So Cancer rising, a lot to think about, a lot to balance out. Wishing you all the best this month. Take care. Hey Leo rising, let's get into your horoscope for October 2025. So October, the energy is very different to last month where we had the eclipse, and I hope y'all are doing good. So October is more passionate, it's more relationship orientated, there's more drive, spiritual momentum here, and for you, there's a lot of focus on home, family, and your comfort, as well as when it comes to communication. Seems like you're going to be having some very profound, intense conversations, maybe regarding the matters of love and how you feel. And also travel may be huge during this month. So let's get into it. I want to start off with all the energy regarding home and family and security and safety and stability, because there's a lot of energy in your 4th house. Now, your 4th house is ruled by Scorpio. So there's a lot of passion here, a lot of intensity, a lot of emotion, a lot of depth, and it's a very spiritual place for you. So home, family is very spiritual for you. And on October the 6th, we've got Mercury, the planet of communication and travel and the mind, moving into your 4th house. So it seems like just kicking off in the month, you already got Mars in Scorpio in your 4th house, where there's probably a lot of passion, there's probably a lot of momentum, drive, a lot of activity. Life is really moving fast in this area of life. Or on the other hand, there could be some conflicts or things that you're kind of figuring out and navigating, which is bringing a lot of triggers up, because that's Mars in Scorpio for you, but it's really determined to do that shadow work. Then you got Mercury, which is showing that there's a lot of deep, even emotional, because Scorpio is a water sign. It's very sensitive. It's very much watery and about sensitivities and feelings. So this may be a time where you're really having deep, emotional, profound conversations that are really kind of like enlightening you or bringing you closer to the people that are very important to you, or you're really thinking about this area of life. Home, family, maybe you're very much motivated to do a lot of ancestral work. That's a big one. I mean, if we go deep into the spirituality of the fourth house and we get esoteric, I mean, you can really do some deep, profound, not just shadow work, but ancestral work. And on October the 22nd, we got the sun entering Scorpio, so it's really amplifying that energy. So there's a lot of focus on home and family, whether there's a lot of changes happening, or you're navigating through old triggers or old wounds from the past, or you're really focused on doing some ancestral work, or home and comfort and safety and stability and security is just a huge goal for you to accomplish during the month of October, but that's a big one. Moving on, we've got a full moon in Aries on October the 6th at 14 degrees of Aries. So the moon will be in your 9th house of travel, philosophies, a higher mind. This is also the area of life where you can find a lot of optimism and faith. And then you've got the sun in Libra in your 3rd house of your mind, communication, thinking, your kind of like daily life and activities, okay? So it seems like you and your emotions with a full moon in Aries, there's a lot of ambition and drive to really be free and travel and move around, and you're focused on like your spiritual beliefs and your philosophies, and you're very adamant on them, and they're almost like bringing out a lot of emotions. But then there's also a lot of focus on relationships and love and harmony and partnerships with the sun in Libra in your 3rd house. So it seems like there's probably a lot of important conversations that can occur during this full moon. And they could almost be very passionate, but also you got to be careful with the moon in Aries because it can have its tantrums or outbursts. But it seems like things that you've been holding on to or things you've been feeling, you need an outlet to release, to let go. This could have to do with relationships. This could have to do with how you feel. This could have to do with your beliefs, your philosophies, or simply what you desire. You need an outlet to release. That outlet could be having important conversations that support you in your relationships, that support you in understanding your needs and what other people need, and coming to some sort of mutual understanding, or a spiritual or creative outlet that can help you release, whether that be writing, journaling, something that is very spiritual, like doing something spiritually healing. It seems like you need to really let go and release, okay? So relationships is a big focus. A lot of important conversations may come up, how you're thinking, bringing more inner peace, inner harmony as well between your ego, your heart, mind, body, soul, spirit. That's a big focus. Now, it seems like travel is really important for you this month with the full moon in Aries. Maybe you're traveling somewhere really profound. Maybe you're traveling and there's something that occurs that really transforms you. That could be a big one. Now, this energy is going to continue because on October the 13th, we got Venus entering Libra. So Venus being the planet of love and relationships entering the 3rd house. So it seems like, the way you're speaking and communicating and connecting and bonding, it's very heartfelt, very loving. And maybe you want to get closer with the people you love through travel. Maybe you want to bond through being out and about, or maybe you want to bond through communicating. Like you just want to talk, you want to get things off your chest, you want to get to know the person you're dating or you're in a relationship with, or just the people you love. You want to get to know them better through having really important conversations. Like you want to talk things out, you want to learn about the people you love. Maybe you're very social during this time and you're enjoying being out and about, out locally or with your friends, like you're really wanting to be social. And this is further emphasized because on October the 21st, we got a new moon in Libra, okay? So the sun, the moon will all be, including Venus, in your 3rd house. So a lot of energy in the 3rd house. So when it comes to your mind, how you're thinking, reading, writing, researching, being out and about, being social, traveling, that's huge. So there could be some very enlightening experiences you have regarding travel. Maybe you're traveling around, and it's bringing the best out of you. It's making you feel very much in harmony, making you feel very peaceful, and it's really soothing for you. Maybe you're going on a romantic getaway, but what this new moon is suggesting is, even though there's a lot of focus on harmony and pleasure and relationships, there's something pushing you to go much more deeper. Now, Pluto does go direct in October, and it goes direct on October the 13th. The same day Venus goes direct, not Venus going direct, same day Venus moves into Libra, but Pluto goes direct in Aquarius, in your 7th house, which rules over love and relationships and partnerships and marriage. So Pluto and the new moon are kind of at odds, but Pluto is pushing you to go more deeper, like go more deeper, connect more deeply. Get away from any superficial connections, and then get to know somebody much more on a spiritual level, on a more purposeful level, on a more emotional level. So Pluto is pushing you to go deeper. It's also pushing you to go more emotionally deeper. Okay, now we also have Mars and Mercury in a conjunction, the sign of Scorpio in the 4th house. So home and family can be really important during this time. This could suggest either something that could be really deep, that has been long buried, that comes up to the surface, and there's some type of confrontation, because you got to be careful with Mars and Mercury, because it can have a very destructive way of communicating. It can really get very intense, or it can get so passionate where it takes it too far. Or when you're in awareness and in alignment, you can work with this energy and turn your passion into something that's more fulfilling or purposeful, where you can work with your creativity, work with the power of your mind and your drive and your ambition and your fire, your fuel, your depth, to create something that is incredibly important to you regarding home and family. So it seems like there's some home and family stuff going on, but there is also a lot of like stuff from the past coming up. And remember, Scorpio is very deep, okay? Many layers here. So it could be a lot of things that you're navigating through during this time, so that you can really move forward and feel comfortable or safe or secure, or just find more meaning and purpose through this area of life, okay? So, yeah, a lot of intensity coming up. Now, we also have Neptune going retrograde in Pisces on October the 22nd. So that will be in your 8th house. So, more intensity, more depth. 8th house rules over shared finances, resources, intimacy, deep spiritual transformation. So, with Saturn being here as well, and Neptune being here, it's almost like a farewell visit. So, Neptune is helping you to become more clear, bring more clarity into your life. Any area of your life where there's some type of deceit or illusion, Neptune will, with its retrograde energy, and Saturn also, it's here to bring things forward and bring truth to you, expose truth. It's also here to enlighten and help you spiritually as well. That's a big one. Even get more closer to somebody, like if you're in a relationship, on a much more spiritual, intimate level. October the 29th, we've got Mercury moving into Sag, moving into your 5th house, where the energy changes. So there's more lightheartedness, more fun, more play, more joy, happiness, more romance. So Mercury is really having fun during this time. So the energy slightly changes at the end of the month, where it's less about the intensity and it's more about just laying back. You've got everything out your chest. You've done a lot of made a lot of moves at home and in your family life. Maybe you're doing a lot of ancestral work or what have you, and now it's time to just sit back and enjoy yourself, because you've been really putting a lot of energy, a lot of attention to home and family dynamics. But now it's time to pour into yourself and really be just the Leo that you are. So Leo rising, wishing you all the best this month. Speak with you soon. Hey Virgo rising, let's get into your astrology horoscope for October. So you just had the eclipse last month. Hopefully it worked out all in your favor, and there was a lot of transformation that occurred. Let me know in the comment section down below. But October is a brand new month, and the energy slightly different. Now, there's a lot of passion, a lot of fierceness, a lot of fire, a lot of ambition, a lot of drive, a lot of creativity. There's also a lot of intensity, gotta say that, and a lot of focus on love and relationships because it is Libra season, and then we move into Scorpio season. So, lots to get into. Let's kick off with the areas of life that are super highlighted for you in October. So, one of the major areas of life and themes coming up in October is a third house for you. So, the third house is all about the mind. It's all about thinking, learning, researching, how you process information. And also, it has a lot to do with like your daily environment and the activities you get up to and travel as well. So we've got Mercury entering Scorpio on October the 6th, entering your third house. So Mercury in the third house is very comfortable and confident. I mean, this is the area of life it thrives in because it has a lot to do with communication in the mind and thinking. And with being in Scorpio, it's more intuitive, it's more deep. It wants to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's really about depth, okay? And spirituality is key. So you may find yourself really getting into a lot of research, learning a lot about the mind, the psyche, or even spirituality, or maybe the conversations you are having are super transformative, like you're really clearing out a lot, releasing a lot, healing a lot as well, depending on, of course, who these conversations are being had with. Now, Mars is already in the third house, which shows that there's a lot of stamina, activity, a lot of energy, you're out and about. And this area of life is really shaping October because it seems like there's just a huge focus on the things that are going on in your mind, giving yourself an outlet to process all of that, journaling, writing, putting it into words can be super helpful. Like that's what the energy is showing, is giving yourself an outlet to process all that is coming up in your mind, all that's coming up in your thoughts, all that is coming up in terms of your intuition and your inner voice and inner guidance. And this will be highlighted on October the 22nd when the sun enters Scorpio and all that energy is amplified even more. So what you're thinking, what's going on in your mind, the things you're picking up on, the conversations you're having, whether that be conversations with yourself or other people, is really important and highlighted because there's like this spiritual meaning behind it, spiritual purpose that can help you and support you to really transform. Okay? Now let's move on to the other areas of life that are super highlighted, and that is the second house and the eighth house. So we've got a full moon happening, and that's activating both the eighth and the second house. And these areas of life are very much intertwined because the eighth house is about shared finances and resources. It's about taking a relationship even more deeper, intimacy, spiritual transformation. And then you got the second house, which is about me, myself, and I, what I own, my resources, my self-worth. This is the area of life that rules over manifestation because it's very much about how you feel about yourself. How you feel about yourself is the energy that you attract into your life, the reality you create. So a lot of focus in both of these areas of life. So with the full moon in Aries on October the 6th, the moon in Aries is very much concerned with me, myself, and I. It's very intense and passionate, and in terms of emotionally, you can have a lot of outbursts or tantrums. But if you're aware enough, you can use that frustration and use it and alchemize it into areas that better serve you. So there seems to be some tension between what you own, what other people own, and what you share with other people, or even when it comes to like tension regarding intimacy and how good you feel about yourself, or perhaps you feel very passionate and inspired to go deeper into the psyche or deeper into esoteric topics to really spiritually transform, even when you want to get into like the law of attraction or manifestation, getting deeper into that. The sun being in the second house is about you and what you own, right? And how you feel about yourself. So that's where the tension is. And the Libra sun is all about harmony and equilibrium and balance. And typically full moons do show where we need more balance. And those are two areas where there needs to be balance and where you need to be very clear and set on what is it that you want to achieve and accomplish. Because that's what the Aries energy is about. It's about achieving and accomplishing and about creating. Whereas the sun in Libra, the Libra energy, It's more about, the higher manifestation is more about heart-centeredness, being more in tune with your heart, and being more in pleasure and having more harmony and peace in your life. So ask yourself, what does bring me peace? And what makes me feel like I'm in a reality where I'm experiencing pleasure and feeling good, and knowing the difference where you also feel like I'm finding disharmony in this area of life or this part of myself, or where there's almost like self-destruction. Where's that occurring? Because that can be very common with the moon in Aries. So it can reveal a lot about yourself, your relationship with yourself, and how that's playing out in terms of money manifestation or resources or the partnerships you have with other people or what you share with other people, or even when it comes to matters of intimacy and taking a relationship deeper, or even your just spirituality as a whole. Okay, so there's a lot you can learn during this time, or there may be some sort of change or ending or transformation regarding second and eighth house matters. Now, that energy is still going to be strong because on October the 13th, we've got Venus entering Libra. So that's going to move into your second house. So you're really going to feel focused regarding what you own, your resources, how good you feel about yourself. This could give you a great confidence boost, or it can manifest the other way around, where it's kind of bringing more insecurities up, which again gives you room to do a lot of shadow work. Be careful with Venus in the second house, because Venus in the second house can be a spendaholic. I'm not too worried or concerned about Virgo dominance, because they're not, typically you won't see Virgo dominance spend a lot anyways, but Venus can definitely in the second house make you indulge a little more than usual. It can also give you great just feelings about self, make you feel very confident and comfortable with self and self-image as well, and self-worthiness, because it's moving out of the first house into the second house. But depending on what's going on just individually in your chart, that interpretation can also alter. Now, we also have the new moon in Libra on October the 21st. So the sun and the moon will both be in the second house. This does signify a new beginning, a new chapter, a new cycle, something beginning new in your second house of what you own, resources, and self-worth, and also just like your confidence level as well. So with the new moon here, even though it's very delightful because it's in Libra, and Libra is all about harmony and pleasure and just everything beautiful and romance and relationships, and this could be very much concerning relationships as well, okay? Relationships connected to what you own, resources, how good you feel about yourself, very much can be connected. But this new moon is not that harmonious because it's making a challenging aspect with Pluto. Pluto is in the 6th house and it goes direct on October the 13th, and it's pushing this new moon. It's really testing and putting the pressure on, where it's like, go deeper, where it's asking you to be more spiritually resourceful, or asking you to find more meaning, purpose through your own self values and worth, rather than looking at it from what you own. Okay, finding your worth through the kind of person you are, the values you have, morals, principles, etc., etc. Okay, that's what Pluto is pushing this new moon in Libra. And then we also have Mars and Mercury in a conjunction in the 3rd house, where the conversations can be really sharp and they can be very intense and heated. There could be a lot of conflict with other people. But if you're aware enough, or you know how to alchemize that energy, you can turn that energy and make it really productive, in the sense of Mars gives you drive and ambition and fuel and passion. And Mercury can be a genius. Conjunct Mars in the sign of Scorpio, where both these energies coming together, you can really create like a masterpiece, or create something that is purposeful. So this energy can also support in your goals and your ambitions that you have set for yourself, okay? It's a lot of strong incoming energies on the way. Now, we also have Neptune going retrograde back into Pisces on October the 22nd, joining Saturn in Pisces in your 7th house. So 7th house is relationships, marriage, other people, partnerships. So it's almost like a farewell. It's a revisit. Neptune's like, okay, let's go back into the 7th house as one last time. and learn all that we need to learn so we can really move forward. So it's about looking at any illusions, looking at any deceit, any part of the seventh house where you feel like you've just been in the unknown, or you've kind of had like a blindfold on, or even trying to understand your relationships from a much more spiritual point of view, or even when it comes to like your current relationship that you're in, perhaps, and of course that varies, getting more spiritually in alignment, and getting more closer spiritually, emotionally, on all levels, because Neptune is a very sensitive, watery energy. So it can help you get more closer. But Saturn also plays a huge role here, where it's like, let's not just idolize, the person you're with or whomever you're seeing or in a relationship with. Let's be also very realistic, be very clear about our boundaries, where we're headed. Are we committed, devoted? Are we growing old together? Like, that's Saturn. Let's get serious. Let's not just be in the honeymoon phase. Let's get very in touch with reality. So revisiting some past karmic relationship stuff. Now, if you're single, this could be very much just reflecting on past relationships and learning more about them so you can really move forward. Now, on October 29th, we'll also have Mercury moving out of Scorpio and into Sagittarius. So move into the 4th house of home, family, and when it comes to security and stability. So there's a change in energy. So Mercury is now getting out of its Scorpio intensity and moving into optimism and hope and faith, where there could be a lot of activity, a lot of communication, thinking, processing, planning, but in a very joyful manner, like, Sagittarius, the Jupiter influence, and there's just more happiness and joy at home with family, and regarding working on like your security and your stability. So Virgo rising, there's a lot going on per usual, but that eclipse energy for you is also continuing. It's not the end of that. That energy is continuing, and it will move forward and continue next year as well. So keep on, processing all that you have learned, and I will speak with you soon. Hey Libra rising, welcome to your October horoscope and forecast. So October is a super important month for you because it's Libra season, and you have a new moon in your sign as well as a full moon in your opposite sign. So you may find that during October there's a lot of changes or a lot of developments, or even like a lot of focus on you and what you desire, your needs, as well as other people and relationships, because you're ruled by Venus, and Libra is a energy of harmony, balance, and love and relationships. Those themes will be quite significant. Now, there is a lot of emphasis regarding love and relationships, which we'll get into. But before that, I just want to say there's also a lot of emphasis regarding your second house. Now, what is the second house in astrology? So it rules over what you own. So it could be in terms of money manifestation, resources. It can also be how possessive you are, or even when it comes to self-worth and your values, that can be a big one regarding the second house. And there's already planet Mars in the second house. Now, planet Mars is very assertive. It's a go-getter. It's very passionate. It's very ambitious. And it seems like there's a lot of energy and a lot of focus regarding the second house. And this is further amplified because on October the 6th, Mercury, the planet of communication and the mind and travel, enters Scorpio, entering your second house, as well as at the end of the month, October 22nd, when the Sun enters Scorpio, it will also enter your second house. So there's a lot of energy and a lot of focus regarding this house. So there could be a lot of thinking, a lot of processing, a lot of planning regarding the second house, even when it comes to a lot coming into fruition, especially with the Sun's influence. You can feel very possessive around this area of life because Scorpio is very much a possessive fixed energy. You can feel very intuitive, very passionate about this area of life, and you want to transform this area of life. That's another key word with the Scorpio energy. So that can be of great importance. Money manifestation, what you own, how resourceful you are, your self-worth, self-worthiness, and even your values. Now, let's move on to the relationship stuff, because like I said, that's a big one for you. Now, as soon as we get into October the 6th, we got the full moon in Aries, your opposite sign. So the sun will be in your first house in Libra, and the moon will be in your 7th house. So the first house is me, myself, and I. Your identity. The 7th house is us, we, me and you. So whether you're in a relationship, marriage, some type of partnership, or this area also suggests other people. This could be other people that you even have like opposing views with or conflict with. And it's quite interesting, because how can the 7th house rule over both love relationships, but also in traditional astrology, it's the area of life that rules over quote unquote open enemies. And that's because we can have differences with the people we love the most. If you're in a relationship, it's always changing and evolving, and you do get into confrontations, you do butt heads sometimes. That's just part of the process. It's just part of the journey. It's just part of the human nature and human ego that we don't always see eye to eye. Now, this full moon is occurring at 14 degrees of Aries. So the sun will be at 14 degrees and the moon will be at 14 degrees. Take a look at where 14 degrees of both these zodiac signs fall in your chart, because if you have any planets closer or exact to this degree, you'll find this being more important and significant during October. So it seems like it's about balancing out what you require, your desires, your needs, and the needs of a relationship or with other people. It doesn't always have to be like a romantic relationship. It could be just a relationship you have with someone, or some sort of partnership, or somebody who plays like a vital, significant role in your life. That's a key emphasis on balance and harmony and equilibrium. Now, relationships are a huge topic because, of course, it's Libra season. So Libra is all about love and relationships, pleasure, beauty, harmony, just really enjoying life. And you may find that you either really feel very passionate about relationships, or just passionate about life, about your values are super important. Perhaps you're redefining your values or what brings you pleasure, or maybe something changes during this time in a relationship or regarding your identity, your attitude towards life, even your goals and ambitions towards life. Something may change. Now, full moons are associated with endings for new beginnings to occur, so something may transform. And you know, with the full moon in Aries, it's very passionate. It can be very assertive. It is very much concerned with me, myself, and I. So you may find yourself in a position where you're experiencing that a lot from other people, and you're trying to figure out, well, where do I place my boundaries? Where do I really become sovereign? Or if you're feeling that way, you may want to look at, well, what is triggering me? And where do I need to apply harmony and balance within myself so I can balance out my relationship? So it's about boundaries, having strong, healthy boundaries, redefining your values, whether that be self-values or values in relationships, or what you require to have a very passionate, strong, meaningful relationship. So there may be a lot of relationship work going on, or even if you're single, it's about redefining what you require in a relationship and what you need. It's almost like planning ahead for what it is that you want to attract. Moving forward, we have Venus that enters Libra on October the 13th, so that enters your first house as well. And there's a lot of Venusian energy, so when Venus is in your first house, you may find a lot of pleasure in taking care of yourself, dressing up, aesthetic, style. You just want to be in pleasure, bliss. You want to go to nice places. You're just feeling very balanced and just feeling great about yourself, feeling very romantic, whether it's treating yourself, being romantic towards yourself, or if you're in a relationship. But it's a really nice energy when your ruler is in your first house. You're just feeling great about yourself. It's also giving you a lot of creativity. So if you work in the creative fields, this could be really supportive. But it's such a beautiful energy when Venus is in Libra in your first house. Now, we're also going to have the new moon in Libra on October the 21st, and it will be at 28 degrees in your first house. So when it's in your first house, it is about you. But because it's in Libra, it can also be about other people. Like I said, this month is about you and other people, and redefining your relationships, or balancing your relationships, bringing yourself at a point where you feel like you're at an equilibrium. And with the new moon in Libra, even though it's an absolutely beautiful new moon where something new can occur regarding love, relationships, artistic, creative projects, finding more harmony in life, something occurring that brings you more pleasure in life, but it is getting very much triggered by Pluto. Now, Pluto does go direct on October the 13th, and it is in your 5th house. So this again is emphasizing on pleasure, joy, harmony, romance, dating, creativity. So it seems like Pluto is kind of pushing you to go deeper when it comes to your values. Go deeper with your boundaries. Go deeper with what it is you require to feel more pleasure, to feel more fulfilled. It's not about just the superficial stuff. It's about finding more meaning, finding more purpose, and having kind of like a spiritual influence in that as well. So you may find yourself digging more deeper within self and digging more deeper within your relationships. And also we've got Mars and Mercury in a conjunction, which is bringing a lot of passion. And this is connected with your 2nd house. So it's got the money manifestation, and it's got the what you own, resources, that element to it. So you may want to create something in your life that brings you more abundance, that brings you more resources, or simply it's regarding your self-worth or your value. So you can feel very ambitious during this time. You can feel like you're ready to go. And Mars and Mercury are super strong because in the sign of Scorpio, they have this level of just intensity and depth, and it's so strong-willed. So something new can occur regarding 2nd house matters or regarding relationships. The element of the 2nd house may also be present. Okay, so this new moon is asking you, go deeper, be more purposeful, be more in alignment with your soul and your soul's path. The 1st house is life direction. So how do relationships align with your life direction? Are there boundaries you need to place? Where do you need to kind of fill yourself with more purpose and pleasure? Go deeper is a key word. So take a look at your chart. If you have any planets in Libra or even Aries at 28 degrees or close by, this may impact you much more. On October the 22nd, Neptune, planet of dreams, illusions, retrogrades back into Pisces, joining Saturn in your 6th house. That rules over your daily life, routine, health, wellness, and also work. So there may be some illusions that are unveiled, or there may be some clarity that you receive, or this may be a time where you feel like you need to still integrate some type of spirituality into your work or into your lifestyle. This could be a time where Neptune's farewell visit in Pisces is also integrating more awareness, more consciousness, more spirituality, more intuition, more magic into your 6th house of taking care of yourself, self-care, wellness, your everyday life, routine, and work. So you may find yourself that you actually need to incorporate something more mindful, something more Neptunian, artistic, creative, spiritual into your life so that you can feel like you're more in touch with your more softer side, with your more spiritual side as well. And then we have the sun entering Scorpio on the same day. So that will also, like I said, amplify the matters of the 2nd house. So that 2nd house is a very ongoing theme throughout October. And then October the 29th, Mercury, the planet of communication, travel, enters Sagittarius, moving into your 3rd house, where there may be more travel involved. You're more social, out and about, having fun. Conversations are more lighthearted, a lot of humor involved, and you're very much concerned and interested in learning, and you're thinking a lot, very optimistic, and you are just feeling very great about yourself. Like the in a conversation, in a dialogue, and what's going on in your mind is really looking good. So, Libra, it's a very important month for you, very special month for you. A lot of emphasis on love, relationships, harmony, as always during this month. So take care, and I'll speak with you soon. Hey Scorpio, Scorpio rising. Let's get into the month of October. So in October, we've got a lot of Scorpio energy and it's going to be Scorpio season. So shout out to all those Scorpio and Scorpio dominants because it's going to be a very intuitive, meaningful, spiritual month ahead. A lot of focus on your identity, a lot of focus on your intuition, a lot of focus on your life direction, goals, and ambitions. To kick off with, we've got Mars, your ruler, planet of action, drive, momentum, stamina, and also ambitions and goals in your first house. So that's really giving you a lot of stamina, a lot of passion, a lot of motivation to really go for whatever it is you want to achieve. And you may feel just intuitive this month in general, very motivated in general. You just feel like you can conquer the world almost because Mars in Scorpio is so just strong-willed, so strong-headed, and whatever it wants, it's just on go. It's on 100, okay? So it's very much a manifestational energy. We also got Mercury, planet of the mind and communication and travel, entering Scorpio on October the 6th, entering your first house. So it's maybe a time where you're thinking a lot, processing a lot, you are planning ahead a lot, like your way of thinking is very intuitive, the way you know things is very, very intuitive, and you are wanting to have more meaningful conversations. You don't want to have superficial conversations, you're not interested in them. Not in general, but especially not during this month. You want to get closer with people through the meeting of the minds, through meaningful conversations. So you may find yourself just being very much looking for conversations that ignite the passion in you, that are passionate, meaningful, purposeful, but also it's giving you this level of intuition that is just so powerful. And then we also have the sun entering Scorpio on October the 22nd, more so at the end of the month, so that's just amplifying the Scorpio energy, providing you with more intuition, more ability to transform, giving you just so much superpower in a way, and it's making you very intuitive. Yes, you may feel very sensitive and emotional during this time, but the main purpose of this energy is to ignite your true desires, passion, and enlighten you. So a lot of Scorpio energy throughout October, and it's really providing you with a lot of magic. Now, we also have a lot of Libra and Aries energy going on because we're also going to have the sun in Libra starting off at the beginning of the month. So we've got a full moon in Aries on October the 6th. So that full moon is occurring in your 12th and 6th house axis. So the 12th house is where the sun will be, which is about the past. It's about higher consciousness, enlightenment, even like doing a lot of shadow work, your connection with the divine universe, dreams. 6th house is more mundane, health, lifestyle, work. So it seems like these energies are bringing forth a lot of tension because full moons do bring tension. On one hand, you got the moon, which is your emotions, very much connected with your everyday life, well-being, and work. So you may find yourself very passionate, very assertive in this area of life, feeling very emotional in this area of life. But the sun is in the 12th house, which is shining light that you need to kind of like integrate what you really desire, such as like your creativity, purpose, what brings you more enlightenment, what brings you more closer to the divine, spirituality, incorporate all that magic into your everyday life so you can feel more fulfilled. So there may be some tension that you have to kind of balance out. There may be a focus on relationships because Libra is a very relationship oriented energy, but there's also a lot of focus on me, myself, and I, and that's because of the full moon in Aries. So there may be some transformation or breakthrough regarding matters of the 6th house, especially your everyday life, how it's structured, how you take care of yourself, and work is a big one as well. Moving on to the new moon in Libra, because we've got a lot of Libra energy coming up. I mean, on October the 13th, we've got Venus in Libra. Then we've got October the 21st, a new moon in Libra, which happens at 28 degrees, all in the 12th house. There's a lot of focus on spirituality, creativity, balancing out your spiritual needs and practices and what fulfills you spiritually. Creativity, like I said, is a huge one with Venus. So this may be a time where you're feeling very artistic or you're finding a lot of pleasure through spiritual realms. With this new moon in Libra at 28 degrees, although new moons in Libra are very delightful, it's getting very much triggered by Pluto, which goes direct on October the 13th. So Pluto will be in your 4th house of home and family, and it's triggering this new moon in Libra. It's almost like it's connected with home and family, where it's asking you to either balance out home and family relationships or what your needs and desires are, place more healthy boundaries, do more spiritual work regarding both of these areas. Now, the 12th house can also rule over the past. So something perhaps from the past, whether it be a relationship or home family life, comes up, and that is kind of like a catalyst for change or a new beginning to occur. We also have Mars and Mercury in a conjunction in your sign during this new moon in Libra, which is bringing so much intensity. And when Mars and Mercury come together, it gives you so much strength, power, courage, so much mental energy, so much intuition and drive. So regarding you and your identity and your goals and ambitions, it can really help you to manifest as well. So you may find your manifestational abilities are just on 100 during this time, and whatever it is you want to create that is in alignment with you can work out during this new moon in Libra. So there's a lot of Pluto, Scorpio energy giving you the motivation and drive to really manifest your goals and ambitions. So you may find yourself in a position where that change occurs during this time. Let's move on. So we got Neptune going retrograde back into Pisces, into your 5th house. So Neptune is about illusions, and when it's in retrograde, especially its farewell visit in Pisces joining Saturn in your 5th house, the 5th house has to do with romance, dating, having fun, pleasure, joy, creativity, how you express yourself. So you may find yourself kind of uncovering something hidden about yourself with your talents or your gifts, or regarding romance and dating. You may find that you are feeling more creative and feeling more artistic, and you're feeling very inspired, and there's a lot of intuition coming through, a lot of your psychic gifts and abilities connected with your creativity, which is one and the same, are really coming online, and you're able to channel them more. Something hidden about a relationship may be a big one with Neptune in retrograde, but there is a lot of Venusian energy going on. So relationships is a big one. But with the 5th house, especially Saturn in retrograde as well, it's about bringing forth more structure and discipline, but also knowing that, you have a lot of psychic and spiritual creative talents and abilities that need to be seen and inspire others. And that may be kind of like a huge theme of October as well. Then October the 29th, Mercury leaves Scorpio, entering Sagittarius, moving into your 2nd house, where the focus is more about what you own in terms of money, resources, in terms of self-worth and values as well. That may be a focus, and you're feeling very optimistic, very hopeful, very faithful regarding this area of life. It's almost like an extension from your 1st house of goals and ambitions, and then Mercury enters the 2nd house, and you're just ready to move forward with some of those plans. So Scorpio rising, wishing you all the best this month. A lot of magic, a lot of manifestation. Take care. Speak with you soon. Hey Sag rising, welcome to your monthly forecast for October. So October is a brand new month. We're moving forward from the eclipse. Still a lot of intensity, a lot of passion, a lot of drive, a lot of focus on relationships this month. Before I get into the relationship aspect, let's get into all the intensity and the 12th house energy that is so prominent for you this month. So you're going to have a lot of planets in your 12th house. So what is the 12th house? So the 12th house is the last house in astrology. So we're looking at past, we're looking at culmination points, we're looking at sensitivities, emotions, creativity, spiritual gifts, abilities, your spirituality as a whole, higher consciousness, dreams, and if you're into like karmic and shadow work, the 12th house can also suggest that. So we already have Mars bringing forth a lot of energy, a lot of direct focus regarding these themes. But then also on October the 6th, we've got Mercury, the planet of the mind and communication in your 12th house. So this may bring a lot of thinking, a lot of being very intentional about what you are thinking about and how your mind really attracts a lot into your life. Like, think of law of attraction, what you give your energy to. Now, because Mercury is in Scorpio, which is a very calculative energy, it's very intentional, it's very purposeful. So this may be a time where you're really thinking about how you've manifested things in the past and how you can be more intentional about your energy moving forward, because the 12th house has to do with the past. But if you look past the 12th house, you got the ascendant and you got the first house. So you're thinking about, well, how can I do things differently in life so that I can get the outcome that I want? This may also be a time where you're reflecting on past situations and trying to do a lot of shadow work, a lot of spiritual healing. You may be very concerned and interested in researching and learning about spiritual topics and karma and shadow work, even perhaps more deeper spirituality and getting into the esoteric stuff. And this is amplified because on October the 22nd, we have the sun entering Scorpio. So a lot of focus on your spirituality, on your spiritual journey as well. And also navigating through past situations that have been lingering on. So you can do a lot of spiritual transformation this month. Remember, Scorpio is a very intuitive, psychic energy. So you may find that you're feeling very spiritual, very intuitive. Your psychic senses are much more stronger and sharper. Dream time can be super strong as well. So make notes of what's coming up for you in your awareness, because there's a lot that can be revealed through October. Now, the intensity continues because on October the 6th, we also have a full moon in Aries. Now, we got the sun that's going to be in Libra and the moon in Aries at 14 degrees. And that's really transforming and activating your 11th and 5th house. So these are the areas where there's a bit of tension. And that's where there needs to be more harmony and equilibrium. So you've got the moon in Aries in your 5th house, which is making you very passionate, making you very much concerned with me, myself, and I. The 5th house has to do with your creativity. It has to do with joy, pleasure, romance, and dating. So there may be a lot of emotion regarding this area of life. And then you've got the sun in the 11th house, where it's shining its light on friendships, groups, networking. Be careful of getting into any like power struggles or ego battles with anyone, especially in your social circle, because a full moon in Aries is very alpha and it likes to be the leader. And what this energy is showing is that there needs to be more harmony in your friend group or in your social circle or between acquaintances, your communities, groups you're involved in, and especially your hopes and visions for the future. And also more mindfulness and more patience and alchemizing any frustrations regarding how you express yourself or creativity or creative endeavors, and using your energy wisely so that it doesn't become self-destructive, but that it serves you and your higher purpose. This also shows that perhaps you're working with other people, but you feel like you need to kind of take the lead, or you need to do something on your own so that you can really flourish and channel all your gifts and abilities. But there seems to be frustration here that needs to be alchemized, that needs to be turned into passion and motivation, so that the energy that you feel so strongly can manifest in a positive way and in a positive direction. And take a look at your chart. If you have any planets in Libra or Aries at 14 degrees, this may manifest more strongly. But there's a lot of creativity available. So if you're working on a creative project, which this does reveal that you are, and of course it's not going to manifest the same for everyone because everyone's chart is unique, but for the most part, and just in general terms, this is focusing on leadership skills. It's focusing on creativity. Also, romance, dating, and relationships is a big one. There may be some relationship stuff that comes up where you feel like you need to kind of transform through that relationship or overcome some very strong feelings of frustration so that you can have a harmonious dating life or relationship. So that is a key theme just in October in general, but especially during this full moon. Now let's move on, because speaking of love and relationships, the energy is going to continue. October the 13th, we got Venus, the planet of love and relationships, entering Libra, which is going to manifest in your 11th house. This is a time where you may feel very social and you want to hang around with friends and you're just having a great time, great at networking, great at coming together and working on creative projects. Perhaps if you are in a relationship, you may be spending a lot of time with each other's friends and social circles. Or during this time, you can actually even meet somebody new that you have an attraction towards, or somebody that you know through acquaintances or your social groups that catches your eye. So there could be some romance there as well. Now we also have a new moon in Libra on October the 21st, and this is going to be a new moon at 28 degrees. Take a look at your chart and where that falls in your chart. Again, this could manifest in a new relationship forming through someone you've known for a while, or you meet through friends or your social group. This could be working or collaborating on a new project with friends and really establishing your hopes and visions for the future, or just meeting new people in general. Now, the tricky part here is Pluto is making a difficult aspect with this new moon, and Pluto is like, let's go deeper. Let's go into our shadows, the depth, soul. Let's get more spiritual. Let's go get more intuitive. Let's not just do the surface level stuff. Let's go deeper. That's a key word. So Pluto is really triggering this new moon and testing it to go beyond just the superficial. We also have Mars and Mercury in a conjunction, which is impacting your 12th house of the past. So past situations may come up during this time, confrontations, inner confrontations that you have to navigate through or work through, or even when it comes to figuring out some mystery of the past, or really gaining a lot of clarity or gaining epiphanies on certain things of the past, or how you need to start to apply your spirituality and move forward. There could be a lot of shadow work through this very strong Mercury and Mars conjunction in Scorpio. Now, Mars does feel very frustrated in the 12th house because it's very action orientated and it wants to be out there. So in the 12th house, it kind of has to go inwards. So that's a battle there, but it can really serve you in terms of working on yourself. October the 22nd, Neptune goes retrograde back in Pisces, moving back into your 4th house of home and family life, roots, ancestry. This is the area of life where you find comfort and safety. So it's a farewell visit of Neptune revisiting Pisces, and it's about regaining more clarity and removing the blindfold for once and for all. Anything that you still needed to get clear on regarding this area of life, or even this area of life bringing you just more meaning and purpose, and bringing you more closer to the divine, or just integrating more high levels of awareness or consciousness. So that could be a very spiritual time as well, but it's also about being very realistic and being very spiritual, especially with Saturn's influence. So that just varies depending on what else is going on in your chart, but it's regarding home and family life and family dynamics. October the 29th, we've got Mercury, planet of the mind and communication, entering your sign. So it'll be in the 1st house. This is when you could be like a chatterbox, when you can be so social. You're out and about. There's a lot of momentum, a lot of energy, and you're just feeling great about yourself. You're feeling like you're in your element. You're very hopeful, faithful, optimistic, and it's a great time. So that could really support you in terms of establishing your identity, moving forward with your goals and ambitions. And there could also be some relationship stuff going on where, you're having some important conversations that are, of course, filled with humor and laughter. So Sag rising, I hope you have an incredible month ahead, and I'll catch you soon. Lots of love. Hey Cap Rising, welcome to your October forecast and horoscope. So October is a brand new month. We are moving forward from the eclipse, but October is still intense. It's still very passionate, and there's also a lot of emphasis on love and relationships this month because we've got a lot of Venusian energy going on. But before we get into that, your 11th house is super significant this month. The house that rules over friendships, groups, social networks, community, and hopes and visions for the future is really going to be be heated up, passionate, and intense because we've got so much Scorpio energy. We already have Mars bringing a lot of action, leadership here, a lot of focus, determination, motivation, a lot of goals and ambitions, and maybe even some power struggles with other people, but it's giving you a lot of momentum and a lot of stamina. We've got Mercury entering Scorpio on October the 6th, so this is a time where you can be very social and great at networking, getting to know people, planning, discussing things, sharing ideas. Perfect for that, but it's also very meaningful and purposeful and also very spiritual. And then the sun moving into Scorpio on October the 22nd really amplifies that. So you may be really meeting like-minded people, joining spiritual clubs or communities, or really redefining your friendships, transforming them, working together, collaborating on projects that are very spiritual and very meaningful, and planning just ahead your hopes and visions for the future. So there's a lot of passion here and a lot of meaning and depth. So that's going to take a lot of the focus for you in October. Then we've got the lunar events. So kicking off with a full moon in Aries on October the 6th, a full moon will be in your 4th house, and then we've got the sun in your 10th house. So the 4th house is all about home, family dynamics, your personal life, and then you got the 10th house, which is all about career goals and ambitions, your favorite house. And it seems like there's some tension between these areas of life, and there needs to be more balance, equilibrium, and harmony. So it seems like at home you're getting a little frustrated because the moon in Aries is very triggered and frustrated in the 4th house because it wants to be in the 10th house. It wants to be either in the 10th or the 1st house. It wants to be out there. So it seems like some things are really triggering your emotions. Whereas with the sun in the 10th house, it seems like there's more light there. It seems like you're enjoying it much more and you're feeling greater there. So there seems to be some friction and tension between these areas of life, and these two areas need to be worked through and really establishing some boundaries, and also working on things that frustrates you. What brings you frustration? What triggers you? Doing a lot of shadow work, because full moon supports us in doing that shadow work, releasing and making transformation. So if you want your 10th house to excel, you need to work on your 4th house or your inner realm or your emotions, because it seems like that is kind of preventing you from really thriving regarding career goals and ambitions. And then there may also be a lot of emphasis on love and relationships, maybe with the influence of this full moon, especially the sun being in the 10th house. There's a lot of focus on relationships, but also career goals and ambitions. Or maybe there's somebody in your work environment or somebody you've met recently through work or networked with that has caught your eye, or even so, you're probably enjoying this area of life a lot, because we also have Venus entering Libra on October the 13th. Venus is about pleasure. It's about love, relationship. So it seems like you're feeling very creative at work. You got a lot of creativity, a lot of creative energy, and you're also really standing out, and people are finding you attractive. They're finding you pleasant, and it's great to really just showcase yourself and really work with your creative gifts and abilities. And then we have the new moon in Libra on October the 21st. So in your 10th house, this can bring a new beginning, a new chapter, new cycle, something you've been working hard to manifest. This could occur during this new moon in Libra because it's in your 10th house of career goals and ambitions. Now, Pluto does go direct on October the 13th, and it will be in your 2nd house of what you own, resources, self-worth, and values. And that is kind of triggering the 10th house. So it's like, go deeper. Don't just work through the Libra energy in the 10th house in a superficial manner. Go deeper with your creativity. Go deeper with your purpose. Go deeper with your career goals and ambitions. Strive to achieve more depth and make it feel more meaningful. Okay, that's what Pluto is pushing. We also have Mars and Mercury in a conjunction during this new moon. So there seems to be some either power struggle, ego battles with friends, groups, social networks, or people you're collaborating with. Or on the other hand, it can give you so much motivation, so much determination, so much passion to really achieve your hopes and visions for the future. So there's a lot of focus on goals, ambitions, and achieving. Let's move forward with Neptune, even though Neptune is going backwards. So on October the 22nd, we've got Neptune going retrograde back into Pisces. So it's revisiting your 3rd house. It's kind of like a farewell, where Saturn is also visiting Pisces again. So if you need to really gain more clarity or understand more about your spirituality, more about higher consciousness or Neptunian themes such as empathy, sensitivities, dreams, this may be a time where Neptune is kind of like integrating more consciousness, more spirituality, more intuition. It's integrating more creativity into you. With being in Pisces, especially being a very spiritual psychic energy, or even just for one last time revisiting the third house for you, and it's really taking the blindfolds off of where you've probably kind of been in the dark and things haven't been clear. So it's bringing more clarity or bringing forward any illusions that need to be seen for exactly what they are. But this could also give you a lot of poetic, artistic gifts and abilities, and it can really support you if you're writing or communicating. It can make you feel just very like people can relate with you. You can really pull on people's heartstrings as well, because it provides you with a lot of poetic ability, whether you're writing or just communicating verbally. Then we have October the 29th, Mercury, planet of communication and movement and travel, moving into Sagittarius, moving into your 12th house, where the focus is more about thinking about the past and thinking about spirituality, dreams, empathy, sensitivities. I mean, you can go deeper, get into past lives, shadow work, karmic work, but there's a lot of energy focused on your spirituality. And there's a lot of learning and researching about spirituality, because that's a topic you perhaps enjoy a lot during this time. So Cap Rising, wishing you all the best this month. Take care, and I'll speak with you soon. Hey Aquarius, Aquarius rising. Let's get into your October horoscope. So we're moving forward from the eclipse, and October is also very passionate, very intense, and also very spiritual. Now, speaking about intensity, we've got a lot of energy in your 10th house of career goals and ambitions. And there's a lot of Scorpio energy involved here. So we've got Mars, a planet of goals, ambitions, drive, stamina, passion. Mercury on October the 6th enters your 10th house in Scorpio. So there's a lot of thinking, planning, a lot of strong conversations, communication regarding this area of life. Then October the 22nd, we got the sun entering Scorpio. So there's just so much passion and focus regarding your career. Maybe you're building on something. Maybe you're focusing on your career more now than ever. Or maybe there's this passion that has ignited and you're kind of like unstoppable. But it has a lot of purpose, meaning, and depth to it, because that's what the Scorpio energy is. So it seems like you're definitely going to be making a lot of changes and transforming this area of life, so it can really work out in your favor. As long as you don't get into any power struggles or ego battles, either with other people or even just with your inner self, okay? So use this energy to support you so that you can really thrive, because it has so much power to it. Now let's move on to the lunar events. So we've got a full moon in Aries on October the 6th, and this is impacting your travel and communication axis. So you got the full moon happening in your 3rd house, and then you've got the sun in your 9th house. So with a full moon in Aries, this could reveal a lot of shadows, triggers, frustrations. And there's also a lot of focus on leadership, me, myself, and I, the ego, and really using your energy to accomplish and achieve. But before you're able to do that, you got to work on this axis and balance this axis, because there seems to be some disharmony. Whenever there's a full moon, there's always tension, disharmony. And in order to work with it in a way that supports us, it's about balancing those areas of life. So you've got the full moon in Aries, which is probably getting a little frustrated during this time. And it's about alchemizing that frustration and turning it into a gift, turning it into an ability that supports you, such as turning it into passion instead of frustration, or turning it into determination and motivation. So it's impacting your mind a lot, and this could be a time where there's a lot of verbal back and forth, so just be careful of, again, not getting into any ego battles or power struggles. There seems to be a lot of focus on creating projects regarding either reading, writing, the internet is a big one as well, or just like your daily environment. There's also a lot of focus on philosophies, perhaps even higher education, spirituality, and long distance journey and travel as well. This could even have an element of love and relationships involved, because we are looking at the Libra energy, where you perhaps need to place some boundaries so that you feel like you are protecting yourself and protecting your energy as well, and you've got a healthy just healthy boundaries overall in general. Now, this energy of love and relationships and pleasure and creativity continues, because October the 13th, we've got Venus entering Libra, entering your 9th house. So this may be a time where you're enjoying either being around people, socializing, networking, or you may be enjoying travel, whether that be traveling alone or traveling with somebody you're in a relationship with, dating or getting to know, spending a lot of time with them. And even like getting into different philosophies that make you feel good, that are very Venusian, and researching and learning. This may be a time where you're really into also just reading and writing, where you're finding a lot of pleasure. Then we have the new moon in Libra on October the 21st. So something new can begin here, whether it being visiting a new place, a new country, or something significant happens in a relationship with the person you're dating or seeing. Perhaps there's this new philosophy that you learn about, or this enlightenment that occurs during this time. Now, what's triggering this new moon is Pluto. Pluto is like, go deeper, be more in tune with your soul, your higher self, be more in touch with what really matters, be more purposeful, more purpose-driven, and go beyond just the superficial aspect of anything in life, especially when it comes to career goals and ambitions, because during this new moon, we also have Mercury and Mars in a conjunction. So this could be super, and I mean super powerful, and it can really work in just such an incredible way, because it gives you the ability to really achieve whatever you are being intentional about. And the key word here is intentional, because the Scorpio energy is very magnetic. So being super intentional of your energy and where you're putting it, it can really support you in manifesting something new. So this new moon in Libra may just be more than just the 9th house. It could be more so about your 1st house and your 10th house, about your goals, ambitions, identity, your life path, and career. So this could be a great time where something new occurs, and that's because of the hard work that you've been putting in all month with all that Scorpio energy in your 10th house. Pluto also goes direct on October the 13th in your 1st house. It's been retrograding since May. So those early Aquarians that have been impacted by it, it's time to now apply those lessons and start to move forward, and the transformation continues. Neptune goes retrograde back into Pisces on October the 22nd, so back into your 2nd house. So this is about reuniting with Saturn and anything you need to be more clear on, the blindfolds that you need to still remove. This is a time when that can occur. This is like a farewell visit for Neptune going back into Pisces. This may be a time where it's about integrating more spiritual values and feeling more spiritually validated, and finding the more spiritual meaning regarding 2nd house matters of money, resources, what you own, and the material realm as well. And then October the 29th, we've got Mercury entering Sagittarius, so it's moving into your 11th house. So this could be a time where you're very social and you're really communicating and you're out there, you are hanging around with friends, or you're getting to know people, joining clubs, or even when it comes to your hopes and visions for the future, very much strong and in the forefront of your mind, and you're planning and researching and really sticking to what it is that you want to create for yourself. So, looking like a good month. I'm wishing you all the best, Aquarius, Aquarius rising, and I'll speak with you soon. Take care. Hey Pisces, Pisces rising, let's get into your horoscope for October. So, I know you've just had the eclipses, and I hope you are doing well. Let me know in the comment section down below, what has that been like for you? How has it manifested? Comment down below. Now, October is a new month, although that eclipse energy is continuing on. But nonetheless, it is a new month, and there is still some intensity. There's a lot of passion, a lot of spiritual influences this month. I mean, October is a very magical month in general. Now, speaking of all the passion and intensity, let's get into all the Scorpio energy, because we've got a lot of it activating your 9th house of philosophies, a higher mind, spirituality, faith, and also travel. So you've got Mars already in your ninth house, where it's really making you very active. So you're probably out and about, traveling a lot, or perhaps you are really intentional about what it is that you want to learn, or whether that being through education or just through your own personal studies. And this may be a time where also with October the 6th, when we've got Mercury entering Scorpio, this could be a time where you're very much reading and writing or communicating with other people and learning about different spiritual philosophies, or really expanding your mind, opening up that crown chakra as well. And then we've got the sun entering Scorpio on October the 22nd, which is just amplifying this energy. So it's very much a time where you're going to be interested in learning and researching, reading and writing, communicating, all about spirituality, perhaps more about esoteric spiritual practices, or even when it comes to intuition and going deeper beyond what we're just so familiar with in terms of spirituality. You just have this desire to just go deeper and deeper and deeper. That's that Scorpio energy, okay? So there's a lot of focus on your ninth house and your spirituality and your mind, expanding your mind. And for some, it may be traveling, expanding your mind through travel as well. Let's move on to the lunar events, because we've got some intense energies, but they're also very relationship orientated. So October the 6th, we've got a full moon in Aries. So that's activating your 2nd and 8th house. So it's the money axis. So the 2nd house is what you own, your resources. This also has to do with self-worth and worthiness and your values. This is also just the material realm. And then you got the 8th house, which is more so about what you share with others in terms of resources. But also you can go more spiritual with this area of life and look at it from going beyond the 7th house into relationships and intimacy and merging, and as well as having to do with deep spiritual transformation. With a full moon in Aries, you may be feeling either very passionate about matters of the 2nd house, or there may be some frustrations, a lot of emotions coming up, feeling almost triggered in a way as well. Maybe there's somebody else involved here. Now, whenever you have a full moon, it shows where there's tension and where there needs to be balance, where there needs to be equilibrium. And this is more emphasized, especially because it's Libra season and the sun's in Libra, whereas the moon is in Aries. So it's about really maintaining inner peace, inner equilibrium, so that these areas of life start to balance out and you start to get the outcome that you are desiring. And also knowing that with the moon in the 2nd house, the 2nd house can almost be up and down depending on your mood, depending on your feelings, because it's a law of attraction. So how you feel is the energy you create for yourself. So it's about managing emotions, which then manifests in everything else. Especially when it comes to security, financial security, how great you feel about yourself, self-worthiness, abundance. So that's a big one, balancing out your emotions in order to get the outcome that you want. You know, the more stable and secure you feel from within, that energy manifests outwards in your external reality. And also, it has a lot to do with placing boundaries. There may be some boundaries you need to place with other people. You know, we're looking at the 8th house, so we're looking at other people. And there may be something ongoing where you're trying to come to some type of resolution, and that's why you're feeling very heated and there's a lot of emotions involved here. But it's also about going into your heart center and finding your inner strength to navigate through whatever situation you're going through, rather than the moon in Aries, which is just so forward and direct and can sometimes be very destructive. It's about really embodying the scales, envisioning yourself as the scales. And if you are going through a certain process or navigating through something with another person and you want the best positive outcome that serves you, envision yourself and the situation just balancing out, the scales balancing out and everything working out the way it needs to work out. There also may be a lot of emphasis on relationships. If you're in a relationship, there may be a need to go more deeper, but there may be something kind of like preventing you, like self-worthiness. maybe that's something that needs to be worked through, or perhaps you feel like in order to feel more abundant, or in order to feel more secure and really work on your self-worthiness, it's time to do a lot of deep spiritual healing, deep spiritual transformation. Now let's move on to Venus in Libra, because on October the 13th, Venus enters its home sign and it moves into the 8th house. So this is a time where with Venus in the 8th house, it's very passionate, very intense, a lot of focus on taking relationships just to the next level. I mean, Venus in the 8th house is very erotic. It's like Lilith, even though, Venus is Aphrodite, but the manifestation in the 8th house is just completely different. This also can bring a lot of just energy around finances and money as well. So that could be a huge theme of October, especially regarding what you share or owe even to someone else. But again, envision the scales, envision your heart chakra really opening up and balancing whatever it is that you're feeling or the situation, and so that you get the best possible outcome. With Venus in the 8th house, you may find pleasure in the esoteric as well. We also have a new moon in Libra happening on October the 21st at 28 degrees. So this may be a time where something changes, progresses, or there's a new direction that begins during this time regarding anything you're going through with somebody else. So, like I said, 8th house is not just about what you own, it's about what you're sharing with somebody else, or even what you owe to somebody else, taking relationships to the next level, getting more deeper, merging, and deep spiritual transformation. And Pluto is really triggering this new moon. And it has to do with the past, and it has to do with something hidden. You're going to be careful, because the 12th house is very mysterious. Traditionally, it's known as hidden enemies, and I mean that quote unquote. So just be careful, because Pluto is really triggering the 8th house. So you got to be careful that you don't get into any ego battles or power struggles, and maintain that heart energy so you can get the best possible outcome. Or even Pluto triggering the 8th house is like, again, go deeper. Go deeper into self, go deeper into the situation, go deeper into really transforming your life spiritually and doing a lot of healing. We also have Mercury and Mars in a conjunction, which is very intense. That can also be like an ego battle or power struggle, or on the other hand, it can really support you into manifesting a goal or an ambition you have, because it gives you so much power and so much drive and determination. I mean, Mars and Mercury together can be ruthless, but it can also be just like a mastermind as well. So of course, be very careful of your intentions and the energy around you and what's going on within you, because there's a lot of triggers in October, and something we're going to be mindful of are our emotions. And then we've got Neptune revisiting your sign. This is like a farewell visit. October the 22nd, it goes back into your first house. So it's about really revisiting certain parts of self, your identity, going over your life direction, goals, and ambitions. And also, this is a time where you can integrate more intuition, integrate more of your psychic gifts and abilities, integrate more higher consciousness, integrate more of your higher self. And with Saturn also, it's about being still very realistic and also being very grounded and looking at your life and, where have you been perhaps sugarcoating things, or where have you been perhaps just not looking at things from a sober lens. So you could do also a lot of karmic shadow work as well, but it's very spiritual, and it's also very much a farewell visit. So yeah, it can be very intense, especially if you have any Pisces placements in the later degrees. But I will do another video on that. Let's move on to October the 29th. Mercury enters Sagittarius, moving into your 10th house of career goals and ambitions. So the energy moves away from the 9th house. So there's more focus on networking, really thinking, planning, strategizing regarding career goals and ambitions. And it can make you very optimistic and give you a lot of hope and faith. So Pisces rising, wishing you all the best this month. It's another intense month. But look, we're moving forward. So take care and speak with you soon.